I'm Ray Simmons and I'm lost in La La Land. Lost in La La Land. Hey, we always try and turn you on to some good things you might not necessarily know around LA. One of the best kept secrets is a restaurant called the Proud Bird, right by LAX. So next time you're driving in circles waiting for someone to come in, or you pick someone up from overseas and they just want a nibble to eat, or to see a little bit of LA's history, this is a place. It's got great photos, memorabilia, an outside area for the kids to run around in, but also a nice little bar you can sit down and watch the planes. Great place, and you can just wait until you need to go pick someone up, and it just works out perfectly. Why waste your time at LAX? You can come here.
Well, that's true. You kind of get the best of both worlds in that you can sit here and see the planes landing at LAX and then catch up on some of the history while grabbing something to eat and a couple of drinks.
You can even listen to the tower on the headphones. I found that amazing.
Absolutely, and we get a lot of people who seriously just come in and sit out here in the patio and watch the planes landing for hours at a time. So it's quite fascinating. The city is in Alabama. It's called Tuskegee, and the Tuskegee Institute is the location. But the airmen were from Tuskegee, and they were brilliant pilots that were used in World War II to escort a lot of the bomber pilots throughout Europe. And the significance was that they never lost a plane.
What do you know about the Tuskegee Airmen, Ray?
Well, actually, I know that they had an incredible record in World War II. And the poor souls were battling two wars at once. One was the race war, and one was against the Germans. But through it all, they did themselves proud, and they did America proud. They did a great job. Yeah, it's just amazing. They had an amazing record, and unfortunately, they had to fight two fights at once.
Yes, they did. And the typical pilot during World War II flew about 52 missions. But because there weren't regulations on the African Americans in the war, they flew over 100 missions. It just didn't matter. That's just what they wanted to do. But quite a proud group, and David Talashe, with the only institution in the United States at recognizing them.
Well, actually, it's a history of aviation. It's Boeing, Douglas, the companies that built it. It's a little bit of the movie business. And of course, all the wars that have occurred, World War I and II and Vietnam and such. And even has a little bit to reflect the space race that we were involved in. Oh, hey, we can't forget, right next to, just down the street at LAX, we've got the original terminal where they filmed scenes from Casablanca. Only in Hollywood would you have a statue to a flying squirrel and a talking moose. 50 years ago, this 15-foot statue was unveiled on Sunset Strip. The statue was a parody of an ad on the other side of the street promoting a Las Vegas hotel. We're right in the heart of Westwood, completely surrounded by high buildings. We're at Pierce Brothers Cemetery. This is probably per square foot the best place to see your celebrities. And here we got Old Dino. We've got Marilyn Monroe. We'll go through the list. It's just unbelievable. But if ever you want to do that, you can park here. It's tranquil, and you step outside and it's nuts. So this is a place we thoroughly recommend to come. Bring a martini. Think of Dino. Let's just run through some of the names here. Marilyn Monroe. We've got Heather O'Rourke and Dominic Dunn, both the actresses from The Poltergeist, who unfortunately, Heather O'Rourke died in surgery and Dominic Dunn was killed by a boyfriend. Jim Backus, Truman Capote, Natalie Wood, again under suspicious circumstances, she's here. Buddy Rich, who's in the Sanctuary of Tranquility. Buddy Rich, the drummer? That's an odd one. Dorothy Stratton, another unfortunate murder. Carl Wilson of the Beach Boys. Minnie Riperton, Burt Lancaster, Donna Reed. And how perfect that Eddie Albert and Eva Gabor finally ended up in Green Acres together, with their partners about 30 yards from each other, but they're here. As is Roy Orbison, Frank Zappa, Elizabeth Taylor, Farrah Fawcett, Rodney Dangerfield, Don Knotts, Dean Martin, Robert Stack, Janet Leigh, George C. Scott, Walter Matthau, Jack Lemmon, Peggy Lee, Billy Wilder, Carol O'Connor, and Bob Crane and his wife, or as you might think of them, Hogan and Hilda from the Hogan's Heroes, together forever. Yeah, the good thing about coming to a cemetery is it brings its space. You know, you can run around a little bit, you're outside, but it brings happy memories. When I think of Don Knotts, I think like everyone, your face just breaks out in a smile. Jim Backus, Mr. Magoo, it's just great. So it's happy memories.
Don Knotts. He was Barney. Rest in peace.